Yeah, no, yeah. That's okay. I'm gonna go to Brad actually. Oh, did Coach tell you? That we're doing
Okay.
Oh, really? Because she told me today that the manager was the same day.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's doing like she's putting you guys on.
I don't know why she's doing this now. Here's my question. When you think about it, like, the way, well, it's gonna be 3 months grace period, and nothing's oh, so she's doing, oh. So like you're gonna do 2. She's like actually secret. Well, like Caroline says, I don't know how much is actually probably yes. Yeah, she told me like that usually is gonna be what makes it very sus. Yeah, I like you might be racing at like 30. Like she could bump back to you. Oh, you're kidding. But I mean, yeah. But yeah, they did want to start support for anyone who has different next year. The center next year, like, convey your desire for now. So if I carry on to next semester. We're definitely short Mary. You mean here? Over here? Is that where you're trying to go? Oh, bro. I swear. Well, she is awesome. Oh my god, yeah. I was there. Well, wait for, oh, This feels like Tuesday. It feels so.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I opened this meeting at 8:18 p.m. Dylan's not here, so I'll be running this meeting. Do we roll call first? Yes. Okay. Okay, Secretary Busy, will you please call the roll?
President Lana, President. Director of Communications McCarthy. Absent.
Thanks.
Treasurer Lage.
Present.
Parliamentarian Foley. Here. Senator Reiner. Here. Vice President Sherfy. Here. Vice President Pastore.
Present.
House Senator McMurphy. Present. House Senator Norman. Present. House Senator Zamora.
Present.
WC Senator Ryan.
Present.
WC Senator Wolfowitz. Present. Senator Stevens. Here. Senator Swartz.
Here.
Georgia Senator Christensen.
Here.
Deputy Senator Rutherford. Here. Caroline Senator Brooks.
Here.
Commander Senator Campbell. Here. Commander Senator Lacey.
Here.
Commander Senator Tuggle. Present. ID2 Representative Webster. Staff Representative Jerome. Present. Open House Representative Crane.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, so before we get started with student speak out and legislation, I just wanted to address the fact that the agenda was amended before the meeting. All parties involved were in agreement that it would just be best to table some pieces of legislation the next semester. So the ones that were tabled were the sober monitoring resolution. This was because Title IX just wanted to help flesh it out a little bit more and make it the strongest resolution it can be. So Senator Swartz and I talked about tabling that one till next semester. He has a meeting with him on Thursday. Good work being done on that. The other one that is being tabled until next semester is the wrestling mat bill. We know there are people here tonight who will likely speak out about this. We definitely encourage you, express your opinions, and for senators who will be returning next year, listen to what is being said about this wrestling mat, listen to how you might want to approach the bill when it sees the floor next semester. But it's being tabled just because that too could also use a little bit of work.
So, first on the agenda, do we have any students speak out tonight? Any students to speak out? So thank you for coming. Please state your name, pronouns, and then you may begin.
My name is Beck Amadeo. My pronouns are he, him. I know you tabled it for next semester, but I just want to bring to attention the necessity of wrestling that. So it's really a thing about safety more so than, oh, we just want a fancy wrestling mat. So the wrestling mat, or the mats we have right now, are gymnastic mats, so they aren't really built to take, a whole bunch of impact, whereas wrestling mats are specifically built to handle, a lot of force and a lot of impact. So I know, in previous years, the jiu-jitsu club has used, the mats that we have right now, but they really don't work for wrestling because, essentially the sport is based around, slams, impacts, and the like. So really without the mat, we don't have anything that we can do with the club. We can't go to practice, we can't, there's not much we can do. So without the mat, we essentially don't have a club.
So they say they haven't been able to hold practices. That's not completely true. We've held about 2 practices so far, and it consists of a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, basically. Only 2 people in that sort of time. So if they're like getting engaged, and these people are strong, it doesn't work very well.
Thank you. Any questions from the Senate? Are there any more student speak outs? Going once?
Yes.
Sure, please state your name, pronouns.
Yeah, Thomas Krulak, he, and, I'd like to speak about the, sober monitor training. I'll keep it short since it's tabled, but I just want to say that me and Tomas are members of the rugby team, and we've been through sober monitor training, and we see this as a necessity, and we see it as something that would be beneficial to the campus to expand more, have a broader reach. It's really something that'll be important for harm reduction and safety in party situations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more student speak outs? Going once, twice? Okay. Okay, next, so we don't have any guest speakers tonight, so we'll be moving on to our old business. So first we have Bill S-2208, the Kate Chandler.
Do you want to-
Yeah, you have the floor. Okay, sorry.
Just this tractor would be a really great addition to the farm, and yeah, the farm is great. An important part of this community, and will only like increase student involvement. It's great resource, like skill for students, especially students who are pursuing a career in agriculture. Which is really good for them to have. If you guys have any questions, I can help answer them about the tractor itself.
Thank you. I open the floor to the Senate. Are there any questions about or concerns?
I have one. So I guess maybe just more like a personal opinion question, for those of you who do work closely with the farm. So you passed a resolution 2 weeks ago that was like, hey, St. Mary's administration, we really need a manager for the farm. And I guess my question is, do you feel that like allocating money for this tractor now is the best idea? Like, do you think we should wait until there's someone who's like a physical body facilitating the care of the farm? Because I'm not opposed to giving the farm resources. I'm just concerned about what's going to be done with those resources. There's no one that's like primarily responsible right now for handling them besides Professor Bush.
I guess in response to that, I would just say that a lot of the students I know in the sustainable agriculture practicum class right now work over there, and a lot of them are sophomores. And I know personally, like Lily Ricette and Nathan Villiger, they tend to really support the farm next year. Love them. So I would just say that there are students at least who are going to benefit from this directly.
And they'll be able to use the.
And they're helping me kind of continue to follow up with the school, because Alex was really a big source of like, we want this farm manager, but definitely the 3 of us are gonna like take that up next year, along with Dr. Munchin.
Got it. and students will be able to use the tractors now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, once trained on it, yes.
okay.
Any more questions from the Senate? Okay, is there a motion for a roll call vote?
Motion, second.
Okay, Parliamentarian, will you please take the vote?
Vice President Sherkey? Vice President Pastore? Senator McNesby? Nay. Senator Norman?
She stepped out for a minute.
Senator Zamora?
Nay.
Senator Ryan?
Aye.
Senator Popovich?
Nay.
Senator Stevens?
Aye.
Senator Schwartz?
Aye.
Senator Brooks?
Aye.
Senator Rutherford? Senator Christensen?
Aye.
Senator Campbell? Senator Lacy?
Aye.
Senator Tuggle? Nay. And then.
She has to abstain, she's not here.
So you have 8 aye votes, 5 nay votes, and 2 abstentions.
Someone did that.
I have to get the count.
Is it that quorum and the ayes have it and passes?
You got another vote.
Did the
You got
two
three
abstain?
things.
The 2 abstentions.
Thank you, was it quorum?
With the 2 abstentions, that's 13.
Okay, so then,
Okay, since the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it, this legislation passes. Okay, next we're moving on to new business. Next on the agenda is, the constitutional amendment, constitutional convention article. So, since Dylan isn't here, I'm one of these sponsors on this. Basically, for, next year's administration, Emily and I would like to do some work on the constitution and the bylaws, because if you've taken a look at them, they are a bit of a mess and, just a little uneven across the board. So this constitutional, convention would allow us to have a set group of students to work and kind of fix the constitutional bylaws. So, I open the floor to any questions. Okay. Oh, yes.
So I do read that this constitutional convention, but I have one issue. And that is the role for the parliamentarian in it. When looking over it, the parliamentarian is the major interpretation of the constitution, even chairs the constitutional review committee. But in this, they still have to be approved by the Senate to join. And I think there's such a vital position, since after any convention, they will continue to interpret the Constitution for any future bills, that I do think they should have a more vital role as co-chair. But otherwise, I do really like the bill. It's just the role of parliamentarians, my issue.
So, yeah, in response to that, I know you've been talking to Emily about this. The parliamentarian is written in, so it is Senate approval, just along with like the other class presidents and senators that will serve. And really, we want to set the groundwork for this moving forward. In the moment, we don't see necessary that we have the parliamentarians as co-chair, because right now we have 3, so the president, VP, and Senate chair, so that would allow, just makes the voting easier in that portion, but we are open if we have a need for that in the future to add in the parliamentarian specifically as a chair. But right now, you are, like, the parliamentarian is still a portion, a constitutional portion of this convention. Yeah. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think that Senator Christensen, I understand the point you're making. I just wanted to share my experience this is my 4th year in SGA, and I've been on some senates where there was just such an absurd distribution of power, specifically power concentrated within the exec board to the point where it was very, very hard as a senator to have a voice. And that is not an environment that was in any way, shape, or form conducive to the advancement of the student body or the advancement of the Senate. In many ways, I actually think it kneecapped the SGA. And I think that was because we had an executive board and some members of our executive board who kind of occupied way too many positions of power. And it actually led to us as an SGA having to forcibly pass a few bills to check that balance of power. That's why for an executive board member to sponsor a bill, they actually have to have at least 3 Senate co-sponsors. So while I understand where you're coming from with wanting the parliamentarian to have a larger role, I think that kind of opens us up to, again, another instance of the balance of power being too concentrated in one position. And I also think having the parliamentarian a little bit removed from this convention may help a little bit by kind of expanding the views and understanding that we have of our Constitution. So if one person is responsible for writing the Constitution as well as interpreting it, I feel that we might get into kind of a rabbit hole of one form of understanding in one lens. And so if the parliamentarian is the co-chair and is also responsible for kind of upholding and interpreting the Constitution, they won't be able to, or at least I feel like it would be much harder to kind of see maybe a flip side or a different argument based on the construction of the Constitution. And that's just from my experience, as this amendment specifically has been an attempt previously, and this is the product of, I think, like, all of Dylan's time on SGA. He's been trying to get, all of Vice President Parham's time, his association with SGA, he's been trying to have some type of constitutional convention. And I think the structure he has right now is actually a pretty good representation of checking that balance of power and modeling it more closely after governments that continually refresh their constitution. So for example, like France, which is on its like 5th constitution.
Any more questions from the Senate? Okay, is there a motion for a roll call vote?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, parliamentary ruling, please take the vote.
Senator Tuggle. Aye. Senator Lacy. Senator Campbell. Senator Sosa. Senator Christensen.
Nay.
Senator Rutherford. Aye. Senator Brooks. Senator Schwartz.
Aye.
Senator Stevens. Senator Wolfowitz. Senator Ryan.
Aye.
Senator Zamora.
Aye.
Senator Senator McNesby.
Aye.
Class President Pastore.
Abstain.
Vice President Sherkey.
Okay, so it's the opinion of the chair that the ayes have it, this legislation passes, this amendment passes. Okay, moving on to our last piece of new business.
I just want to note, just because it's a constitutional amendment, it's passed the Senate, it has not yet passed the student body. And it's still in spot for a vote on the student body. We haven't done many constitutional amendments this year, which I'm thankful for, but, they cannot, be voted in unless 2/3 of the student body.
So, next is Bill, SS 2210, the pool table refurbishment. President has a right.
Yeah, so on pool tables, so everyone spends a ton of time in the camera center. I would say a ridiculous amount of people
And when they're first years, when they're spending way more time at the campus center, we'll get into the pool a little. A lot of people like it. And we have actually more pool tables than that around campus, which if you don't look, you would never know, because no one ever uses them. Right now, you have to like rent out the stuff from the RAs. And on top of that, tables in the dorms are in really bad shape right now. So I had a conversation with Derek about getting them refelted and getting the stuff put back out so you don't have to rent it out. And he was on board with both of those. So this would be contracting. Derek says he has a personal contractor in the area that he had quoted. We need to refelt both the tables in the tables in Dorch as well as Caroline, one of PG's. Okay, no, it just needs a good cleaning. But the other ones are just terrible, and this would also allow us to go back to, by having this stuff back out, the other money would be set aside for remaking sets of pool balls that are missing some, and making sure that there are enough sticks at every location.
Thank you. I open the floor to the Senate. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, is there a, oh, sorry. Senator.
So I fully support this idea, because I do like playing pool, but I just had some concerns about like the dorms, just because like as a freshman last year, we saw what happened with the kitchen that just got put in, and that was like a mess. Do you have anything like, do you have any worries or like anything you would like do to prevent something like that happening with the tables?
Yeah, so I talked to Derek about it, and he said that all the pool table stuff got removed in 2018 after someone threw a TV during the Super Bowl. And so he's like, this is why we took it away, and I asked him if he thought it would be like worthwhile to put it back, and his answer was, yeah, sure, put it back. So, I mean,
So we can give it a try, and if it doesn't work out,
exactly. If they mess up, if it shows to be a problem, then it gets taken back away. But it's been long enough that people think they might be able to have it back out.
So I know you talked about the pool tables themselves, but what about the other materials, so like the MPD, not all of the balls are there.
Yeah, so in the resource room in Caroline, there's 2 big Sterilite buckets full of balls. There should be enough for at least 8 sets, really, if you actually look there. The odds of us finding sets that all have matching walls, that all have the exact same font, we should be able to at least pull together 3 of them. And then also, we have 5 sticks currently in the resource room on top of whatever in the individual dorms. So we have money set aside to go back up to 9 sticks, that's 3 at each location. And then there's a nice bag full of tips, so each stick can be re-tipped as well.
Any more questions? Is there a motion for roll call vote?
Motion.
Okay, Councilman Terry, will you please take the vote?
Vice President Sherkey. Class President Pastore. Senator Nesby.
Aye.
Senator Zamora. Aye. Senator Ryan.
Aye.
Senator Wolfovich. Aye. Senator Stevens. Aye. Senator Schwartz.
Aye.
Senator Brooks.
Aye.
Senator Rutherford.
Aye.
Senator Sosa. Aye. Senator Christensen.
Aye.
Senator Campbell. Senator Lacy.
Aye.
Senator Hubble.
Aye. The opinion of the chair that this legislation passes. Okay, next we have the review of the SGA budget.
All right, so I will make this quick, or I will make it as quick as I can at least. Budgets are, not for everyone. Where's that charter document? The 22. Yep, all right. So this is the beginning, at least, of the budget for next year. So a couple of things to start off with. Minimum wage is rising to $12.50 an hour in St. Mary's County. Yay, minimum wage increase. We do have some students that we pay minimum wage on our payroll, and so that affects the budget in a few ways, but not that significantly. Projected total enrollment is around 1,500 students. which is also an increase. Yay, the school's getting bigger. Student fees have not changed the entire time I've been treasurer, maybe longer. And that is where we get pretty much the entirety of our budget. So that gives us a little bit more money to work with this year, $405,000. So moving down, we have the Green St. Mary's Renewal Fund, which is a green fund that we donate money to the foundation, which helps go towards making the campus more renewable, using more renewable energy, using like porous pavement, stuff like that. Media board is the Point News, which we all know and love, the newspaper. They're getting $17,000, which is a slight increase from their budget this past year. Hawk Radio is going to exist again in a new form. It will be sort of a recording studio for students. The $8,000 is for the payroll of one manager and two assistant managers who will be students. And then also some new supplies in case they need it. Safe Ride is still Safe Ride. They reduced their hours during COVID. I talked to the director of Safe Ride, who's Senator Schenkel. He said that there are no plans to sort of increase their hours back what they were before COVID as of right now. So we reduced their budget a little bit, but that won't have any impact on what they're doing. They will be as active, at least as active as they were this past year. Moving down, media services and wages. We have the SGA media techs that are available to all clubs for club events. They will set up sound, mics, speakers, projectors, the whole thing. We pay the media tech coordinator and then a few media technicians to help with that, as well as some money for repair of their existing supplies and purchase of new ones. Moving down, we have the SGA retreat meal tickets, which isn't something that has happened in a little while because of COVID, but it's sort of a negligible expense and it will hopefully happen again. The campus food pantry is the food pantry on campus for students who are unable to afford food at grocery stores. They can just go in and take stuff for free. So we contribute $1,000 to that. Our line items, Chancellor's Point Board is, they run Bottom County. They receive $2,500 a year. Senior class funding, the senior class receives $10,000 in fundraising for gala and stuff like that. And so that will be the class of 2023 next year. Class of 2026 base funding, the freshman class also receives $4,000. The talent grant is a grant that any student can apply for if they have an idea to improve the campus. They can receive up to $8,000, but usually it's only a portion of that, I believe. But that overall is a good thing. That would be awesome if the SGA advertised more. Office and club room supplies is exactly what it sounds like. We have an SGA office in case any of you didn't know. I didn't know until this year. Professional fellowship program is a program I believe we run with the Career Center, where we contribute money and they help run this program to train students and help them get a little bit more experience. The club fair is the club fair. That's just money for us to advertise. Staff appreciation, SGA memberships. We belong to the ASGA, which is a national association of SGAs. Executive board discretionary fund. SGA gets $1,000, or the executive board gets $1,000 to spend. Mark Twain lecture series. The lecture series we host with the English department, which is coming up very soon. Student Life Infrastructure Fund is funding for SLIP C. Fortunately, there was not a 4-year project put forward by Slip C this year. We really hope that Slip C does that next year, because the most recent one was the menstrual cup for the menstrual product dispensers in the bathrooms around campus, which has been great. So we would like to do other stuff like that and have more of an impact on campus through that committee. Elizabeth Walker Lecture Series is a lecture series that we help the Black Student Union host on campus. They'll bring in speakers to talk about relevant events that are happening, which is great. SGA Senior Regalia is relatively new, but also exactly what it sounds like. And we have 2 scholarships, one for students who cannot afford books for the year, and then one for students in leadership positions around campus. Programs Board is Programs Board. We know them, we love them. They did the concert, they helped with the concert. They did World Carnival. We pay for them. NACA is the conference they go to every year. Finance Board, this is the club funding. We have $50,000 for yearly allocations, and then emergency fund appeals that happen at the beginning of the fall semester and the spring semester, and then $500 for new clubs. 10 clubs get $50 each. Club sports is club sports. They get $50,000. ACT CSC wage is, we actually pay Mary Beth over the ARC. We pay at least a portion of her salary. That's what that is. And then the rest are maintenance and training for her that she has to take part in, and medical supplies and field paint. And that rounds out the budget, which leaves us with a surplus of $669. Does anybody have any questions?
Really tiny, since you mentioned that minimum wage is going up, it goes up again on the first of the year, up to $13.25.
Yeah, and that'll be reflected at the end. This is just what the minimum wage will be when we start the new fiscal year. Anybody else? Awesome.
Thank you.
Voted on.
Oh, we forgot. Yep. There a motion for a roll call vote?
Wilson,
Second.
Vice President Sharkey. Vice President Pastore.
Aye.
Senator McNesby.
Aye.
Senator Zamora. Aye. Senator Ryan.
Aye.
Senator Wolfowitz. Aye. Senator Stevens.
Aye.
Senator Schwartz.
Aye.
Senator Brooks.
Aye.
Senator Rutherford. Aye. Senator Christensen.
Aye.
Senator Sosa. Aye. Senator Campbell. Aye. Senator Lacy.
Aye.
Senator Turnbull. Aye.
Okay, the opinion of the chair that this budget passes. Okay, moving on to exec reports. President Lano, do you have anything to report?
Yes, so the first thing I'd like to say is that, though this is our last legislative session, we do have one more meeting, and that is our SGA banquet. So the goal is to make this last meeting really fun. We won't be seeing any legislation, but we will be doing a lot of the end of year stuff, like going over, what we did during this year for both semesters, like the progress we've made, and also giving out yearly awards. For seniors, this event is where you'll get your stoles, and for all of you guys here in SGA, this event is where we'll do the SGA end of year awards that you guys voted on. I'm just passing out invitations right now. Actually, I'm just gonna give a stack here and then a stack down here. There you go. And then this is also for you in the back as well. So it'll be good. We'll have dinner for you all. So, you know, if you're hungry, like eat early, but we'll have an Italian pasta bar catered. That'll be wonderful. So please do come. It's going to be in DPC, and it's still going to start at like 8:15. So shoot to be there by 8 if you can. the next thing I'd like to bring up is we are officially accepting applications again for the SGA Student Leader Scholarship. So this is a scholarship that was passed 2 years ago, I believe, and basically what it is it's a scholarship that honors student leaders on campus. And so the due date for the application is May 20th. You send in a letter of recommendation, a resume, and answer a couple questions on the Google form. And then it is reviewed by Derek and a couple other people on our review committee. And up to 5 awards of $1,000 are given out to student leaders. What's your question?
Is this like a dress code, like business casual?
Oh, just, yeah, I mean, you can just wear whatever you want. Yeah. If you want to dress up a little, that'd be cute. If you want to take pictures, sure, like seniors are getting their stools. If you want to do a whole little picture session, we can, but I don't really mind. You can show up in wherever you like. So then, are there any questions about the Student Leadership Scholarship or the banquet? The link for the Student Leadership Scholarship will be on the SGA website in a little bit, and as of right now, it's in a tiny URL yes.
Is that just for SGA or for like?
Any student leader on campus. So, I mean, it's called the SGA Student Leadership Scholarship, like you guys as senators can apply, but this also is for like club leaders or captains of club sports. It could even be for like someone who's on a varsity team but excels like as a leader for their peers. Basically someone who's had a positive influence on campus. You know, we probably will pay special attention to those who are leaders of like SGA sponsored organizations. But it really is for anyone. If you consider yourself a student leader, apply. Any other questions related to the banquet or the scholarship? Perfect. So then the next thing I wanted to talk about was talk radio. So we are still nailing down details, and it's been a long process of trying to get like certain actions approved. So talk radio officially is contracting out to Brooks Whiteford's company, and he'll be coming in, taking everything out pretty soon. I don't know if you have any more specific updates about that there.
Not a specific date, but we have signed all the things he is now allowed to come in.
Yeah. And with that, we've also developed 3 paid positions within Talk Radio that will be available to students who will be on campus next year. We encourage you to get the word out about this. I'll be sending out more specific details when we've communicated with Brooks, but anyone who did indicate interest in the past semester, I'll also be sending this info to. But if you can put it in your reports just to get it on people's radar, there will be 3 positions. One will be the head Talk Radio manager. So this will be like the primary point person for all things Talk Radio. They'll be the manager of the space, the really technical aspects of things. And then we'll have 2 assistant managers, one for scheduling and one for marketing. So this is like a wonderful opportunity, just spread the word and more specific info will come. Any other questions about that? Yeah, Emma?
So is this related to the bill we passed, I think it must have been this year, on the refurbishment of the Hawk Radio studio?
Yeah.
So it was my understanding that that was gonna be contracted out to like a different, is Brooks Whiteford going to be doing like, my understanding was that was like kind of construction-y.
Yeah.
Is he gonna be doing that? I thought there were a light and sound.
They do all kinds of media tech stuff, and this is within his like capacity, company's capacity.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've like identified all of the equipment that's gonna go in there. They know exactly what the layout will be. And Brooks is an alumni here. He worked with Talk Radio way back when, so like he has a special understanding of the space.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions related to that? Okay, awesome. We'll say more next week, but I also just wanted to say, like, thank you guys so much for a really wonderful year. Thank you to those who are seniors who gave SGA like a try for the first time this year. That's been really valuable insight and a really special thing to have. And thank you to first years who gave it a shot, even if you're not going to continue next year. Like, this has been wonderful to have really new perspectives, and it's great for those of you who will be returning. And just thank you to those who jumped right in and have been with us for 4 years now. So like Norman has left, but like Senator McNesby, thank you for your commitment over the past 4 years. It's been really special sitting here with you. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of wrap up the actual legislation session in my notes with just like a big old thank you. And I'm excited to see you guys at the banquet next week. It's gonna be so fun. And that's all. Thank you. Should I relate to anything report?
Yeah, so one, thank you guys for passing the budget. I know it was really controversial, but now the SGA gets to run next year. And then, club fund appeals are wrapping up. Yes, Treasurer-elect Arnita and I are sending out the information to clubs about how much money they have received for the year. And I will be talking to Mary Beth about how much money club sports will be receiving. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done, so, that's all.
Yeah, just really quick, sorry. Tell your constituents to keep an eye on their email out for Thursday. All of the ballots for this past, the current election cycle are closing on Friday at 8 a.m. So I will send out a reminder email. Everyone should be getting a reminder email on Thursday, and I will also be sending out the referendum on Thursday, so that the student body can vote on it. And yeah, I'll let y'all know what the results of that are once they come back.
Secretary Kazim, anything to report? I just have one thing, for the SGA seniors, I sent out a Google form this Friday, about your current plans, and those who filled out already, thank you. Next, moving on to representative reports, open housing representative Crane, anything to report?
Yeah, more so on the personal note. Thank you guys for passing the fall kindergarten bill. This weekend, we went out there and it's all cleaned up now. We threw seats down and it rained a lot this weekend. So hopefully they'll bloom very, very soon, possibly this summer. Go check it out, Healing Garden in front of QA. Great.
Thank you. Staff representative Sharon, anything to report?
Yeah, so this weekend, staff is doing our campus-wide play day. It's gonna be on the greens from 2 to 4 p.m. and it's gonna be dodgeball and other lawn games. So it's open to everyone, so please come out, it'll be really fun.
Great, thank you. So, are there any Senate reports? Yep, Senate reports.
I have 2 things I'd like to share. All right, one's a speech on the social policy bill I'm working on. I'll lead in with this speech and I'm not gonna do anything. It's really dry. I don't have a very big memory, so bear with me. All right, I'll read this out real quick. My perspective, in the summer leading to fall 2021, I worked closely with Title IX through 2 meetings with Michael Dunn and Colin Wallet to devise a plan to bring up with the Dean of Students, Derek Young, once we arrived at school. In the meeting, which happened on campus around October 2021, we must decide the best method in implementing the proposed policy we can garner student support and produce merit, then going from there. This is the state of the project is currently at right now. This consisted of planning and implementing a pilot program, something meant to repeat in the part of the last 2 semesters, and spreading awareness among campus leaders, both things which have been done successfully. We then had 2 more meetings to train Metro through Title IX that fall, and 1 more meeting for training and project direction this spring. There were a few issues here we resolved them. After Helen Ann left, the project stagnated. Emails to Michael Dunn and Helen Ann go unanswered or responded to very late. In the meetings held this semester, they seemed rushed. We as a team have resorted to holding our own trainings this semester after Michael Dunn told us he cannot lend us his training and support and expertise.
I'm really sorry to interrupt, like, is it possible that you can put your mask down if you're 6 feet away from someone or something, or can you speak up, like, I just really want to hear what you're saying.
I think that's whatever you're comfortable with.
But I'd like to.
If Kenzie and.
I'd actually like to. Thank you. I'm a little bit sorry about that, guys. As a team, we have resorted to holding our own trainings this semester after Michael Dunn told us he cannot lend us his training support and expertise, something Conan helps largely with. Other teams continue to reach out, however, training is difficult to sell and implement considering the unofficial capacity currently functions in. After stalled meetings and general unavailability, Michael Dunn responded to my email to relay the withdrawal of his co-sponsorship 3 days before its vote at SGA. However, we are scheduled to meet this Thursday. Sadly, 2 days too late. Derek never responded, but he's here today, so that's promising. I believe Derek Young claimed that without telling us support and the large issues he sees within it, that this project should be presented to be voted on by the SGA. something I hesitantly agree with, but hope to avoid through prior attempted meetings. However, my goal with this resolution is to garner student support and to prove its support and merit among the college community, and really to ensure collaboration with school admin. This policy is a model from which I like to workshop with school admin. Without proven student support, it will continue to struggle for legitimacy and urgency. To reiterate, this is a policy used in other peer institutions, and is a guideline for instituting a harm reduction policy for student parties. Currently, we have no policy in place to facilitate safety this way. For what reason the schools are afraid of instituting a policy that will further safety and accountability, I cannot know, but it's an issue that we can overcome. But I do know that its implementation will continue to stall without the backing of student support. Hope to get y'all support next semester and change the culture here at St. Mary's. It's a work in progress. All right, and then I don't know if y'all read the policy or the Q&A, but I'll go into that now, just so y'all know what's going on. All right, first, how will it be used? That's any club, varsity team, or group can decide to use this to organize under the supplemental social policy. As long as a group of students can get sober monitor trained, follow the proposed risk management policy, and use risk managers and sober monitors and fill out a program planning form in accordance with public safety and dean of students. This will grant them extenuating social privilege at social events. This is an effort to make a compromise with the school. Otherwise, it's not really an attractive option considering our parties currently have no regulation. Safety, the first 3 weeks on campus are known as the red zone for a number of reasons we'll get into. There's increased instances of personal harm from alcohol and sexual misconduct in this period. The rugby team, in accordance with this and the resolution, do not host parties during this time. Instead, we use it to train our new members. What is the red zone? How can we mitigate harm? Risk managers, sober monitors. Risk managers train the sober monitors, and sober monitors are trained in through the school with risk management and all that stuff on how to keep parties safe and prevent instances from happening proactively. For the general expectations, their sober monitors are to remain sober for the whole event, be present at the pre and post walkthrough by PS. That's to be decided, but public safety has voiced their support for this policy. Respond to observed or reported behavior, working directly with public safety. And must be trained through Title IX. In that way. Expectations of the venue, there's to be one sober monitor per 20 people. So for small parties, that's fine on a regular Saturday. For larger events, there should be more. This can help in the same way as Nighthawks used to do on Halloween and all that. Just getting more students active and helping out. There'll be more instances for positive intervention should stuff happen. Yeah. What's wrong with an absence-only campus? Absence-only policy does not deter nightlife behavior. In fact, shutting down every party pushes partiers behind closed doors when there's less supervision and increased likelihood for harmful incidents. Furthermore, due to the illicit nature of those were events, victims are deterred from reporting, seeking help in crisis scenarios. What about underage drinking? By having each member, as part of the training, get tips trained, which is like a national alcohol awareness responsibility training. It's the same thing you would get if you worked in a bartender at the door. It's about an hour long. We can ensure that we're not giving drinks to people under 21. This can look like X's or checking ID. Men's rugby and affiliation. The unique opportunity to function as a bridge between varsity clubs and other organized student groups. Men's rugby hopes to set a strong foundation towards safety, responsibility, and accountability. By setting this example, other school organizations will follow suit for the eventual ratification of our proposed policy by the college. We recently wrapped up our second semester of training and used sober monitors and have heard interest about the supplemental social policy from other groups. We hope this proposal incentivizes those other groups to do the same, in addition to the benefits of using it. Precedent, during larger events such as Halloween and events of a similar nature, the college has asked for the help of the Nighthawks Public Safety. The supplemental social policy work to lessen the burden of safety and crowd control in groups by working with them. Additionally, public safety does nightly rounds of the campus residential area, so it would not be a huge stretch to ask them to be aware and in direct correspondence with the house hosting event should any instances occur. Compromise. As a member of SGA and participant in the Student Speak Out of 2020, I was part of the discussion for our large campus parties and the pros and cons involved. The main argument here was, how can the college support something as risky as a social event? They're not supporting a social event, rather they're supporting the safety of their students who will be participating in student-hosted social events regardless. This is why the college utilized public safety help with these events. We would like to do the same thing here, except on a much smaller scale and much more often. Further, students supporting the ideas of school sanctioned social events repeatedly mentioned reference to tolerance and disallowance of main food that not safe to be pushed behind closed doors. Due to pressure from the school about safety concerns, public safety threatened to not participate in the event altogether. This would have created an even larger unsafe atmosphere. Ultimately, with the help of PS, the event turned out fine, although no compromise was ever made by the students on how to work with public safety in the school to help mitigate harm on our end. This policy is the compromise to meet the school halfway in a real effort to make campus a safer place while understanding what it means to be a college student at St. Mary's. For public safety in the school, all open social events will be registered to the school with a program request form approved by the school, approved by public safety and Office of Student Affairs. PS's cooperation will be a large benefit considering they're already there to protect the greens on the weekends and could have an officer located outside the green zone queue. This officer will be in direct correspondence with the color team. The goal, by having server monitors present to uphold the agreed upon community code dedicated to maintaining the safety of large and small social events. The school will begin to foster a safer social community than the current absence-only policy, an initiative already utilized by many of our peer institutions, including Gettysburg College and the University of Maryland. Lastly, the St. Mary's Way, it checks off almost every part of the St. Mary's Way. It fulfills a lifelong quest for discipline, learning, and creativity. It is about people who take individual responsibility for their work and actions, meant to foster relationships based upon mutual respect, honesty, integrity, and trust. Create an ongoing dialogue that values differences and unique contributions to others' talents, backgrounds, customs, and worldviews. Built by, and continued by, committed to examining, shaping the functional, ethical values of our changing world. And it's in the spirit of caring and ethical service. Thank you. It's still a work in progress. Any questions or support would be appreciated. And if y'all want to read the actual policy, it's, I sent it to y'all. Any questions of you?
So I have a quick question. If this were to be put into place, would this require all clubs and club sports to actively come in and change their constitution?
No, it would be optional, and it would just be a school-wide policy that if they wanted to utilize this, they could utilize it. It's just making it available.
Two more questions.
Yeah, so you mentioned that would be the same, alcohol safety training that's given to, like bartenders and servers. I'm aware in my spare time, and that training is a joke, like it is, it's a joke. I wonder if there's like anything else that you should look into as far as training resources that are, I don't know, a little bit more comprehensive, a little bit like,
Yeah, so that's part of what my goal with the resolution is. It's to get the student backing support for the idea, then from that idea, taking that to the appropriate administration for further workshopping and refining. But this is just what it's been at Gettysburg College.
I don't know, I think this is my last SGA meeting, so I can say what I really think. I think if you have PS support, which it seems like you do based on the slideshow, really the only opposition you're gonna get is from administration. My perception from my 4 years here is that as kind of a mandate handed down directly from President Jordan is to kill any sort of social life that is happening at the school that is after the hours of 6 p.m. that personally, and like, I mean, you can say what you want about that, but the fact is, a lot of the opposition we face as an SGA is because of that kind of policy. And it makes me sad to think about, because I have, you know, my uncle went here. I'm sure everybody has a relative who used to go to St. Mary's. It used to have a really active, thriving social life, and it is dying because I feel like there's so much pressure on students and on student leaders to kind of kill any type of social life. But obviously, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, so they're still going to throw parties. So now you're seeing more and more unsafe situations. For example, our big, like you were saying, collard greens. Our biggest issue is people are going to go to off-campus parties. What you've seen all this year is people are going to off-campus parties, but instead of staying on campus, they're going to these off-campus parties. They're getting insanely drunk and causing property damage and having the police called and like becoming a nuisance to the St. Mary's community. Like, for example, I don't know if anyone saw that Yip Yap drama, but when students were at Lodge and they like stole things from the house, they destroyed several parts of their patio, and I know for a fact that there was like an instance of like one of the like members of that house was actually like assaulted, was like hit in the face. I think that's personally just not okay, and I think that this kind of abstinence policy, like you were saying, is severely problematic on so many levels. And it's outdated. Yeah, like I feel, anyways, I think that we as an SGA need to really advocate for the students, and I hope that you guys as an SGA continue this. I wish this had come up earlier so that I could also advocate for it. I'm happy, I think you're staying next semester too, right? Yeah.
They're trying to wait you out, but joke's on them, taking gap semester.
As you should have, King, because I think this is really important, and I honestly think like the reason you're getting pushback from it is because the person who oversees this SGA directly answers to President Jordan, and it's my last SGA meeting, so nothing can come from that comment.
I will say, I had Title IX co-sponsorship, and I've been working with them this whole time. About 3 days ago, he texted me back for the first time saying he wanted to withdraw his co-sponsorship. To me, that came as a big shock. Their logic was that if they were supporting the sober monitors, not the overarching policy, that I got the sober monitors from. So, little hoopla, it's going to be very difficult to pass, but I do think there's a way to do it. And we'll do that next semester.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
All right, we have to end the meeting, but it is, this bill won't be seen until next semester either way, so it'll be presented once again. If you have any questions, definitely after the meeting.
Any other center reports?
Really quick, there are two graphics in the meeting minutes. You could send those out to constituents. One is the sustainability club event, and one is Bottom County, a road to Bottom County this Saturday.
Also, I was going to submit a wrestling mat bill with the wrestling club. That got postponed for next semester. I agree with that. The main issue is storage at this point, and we're currently in the works with the art. Mary Beth is talking to one of people. We're figuring that out right now. So once that's solved, we're ready to go.
Any more center reports? Yes.
Hi, mine's Jill. Lavender graduation is next Friday, April 29th. If you don't know what it is, it's our graduation to celebrate our LGBTQ plus graduating seniors. It's really important and really cool. The last day for seniors to sign up to participate is Monday, April 25th. So if people on this side of the room could really put that in their constituent reports, I would really, really appreciate that. This is the biggest class we've ever had with 23 students. Word on the street is the student selected speaker is pretty cool.
Okay, any general announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I close this meeting at 9:16. Good night, everyone. We're not gonna have to do this again.
Yeah, I have to take the opportunity.
If for whatever reason you guys want your name tag, you can take it. We're done with them. There's also donuts. You want a donut? Yeah. I think that's. Yeah. Emily, that's all. You want to come talk? I just have to ask Ron. Anyone not get an invite? No,